Hi, I'm David Davis from ActualTech Media. We're here at the Datrium headquarters, and I'm honored to be joined by Mr. Andre Leibovici. He's the Vice President of
Solutions and Alliances.
Solutions and Alliances. Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
Thanks for chatting with me. It's an honor to chat with you. I've followed your work over the years, many books. I know that you were the architect for VMware Horizon. You worked at Nutanix for many years. And so obviously you're very familiar with Hyperconvergence. And I wanted to take this opportunity to kind of compare and contrast Datrium's OpenConvergence platform versus Hyperconvergence. So first off, let's start with Hyperconvergence. What's good about Hyperconvergence?
Yeah, Hyperconvergence is awesome as well. It managed to simplify the data center and automate a lot of the functions that admins would have to do, like zoning, LAN, masking, and to some extent, the automation went all the way to hypervisor upgrades, firmware upgrades. It really simplified the data center. And there's a lot of goodness to hyperconverged.
Yeah. So with hyperconvergence, I get rid of my legacy SAN, I move storage into the compute, and the storage is distributed across the nodes. Maybe I have to add some flash storage and some local storage to my servers because they didn't have that before. Yeah. I get some integrated management in the vSphere, let's say vCenter, vSphere client.
Yes.
Okay. So, but what's the downside to hyperconvergence?
So there are a few things. So the first one is you need to scale compute and storage capacity at the same time. There are some vendors out there that have the storage only node. For the most part, it's very complex. You're actually adding CPU when adding storage capacity. That's the first thing. The second thing that they don't tell you, they don't help you, is like they scale to hundreds of servers, thousands of servers, or petabytes, is that the management domain is actually fairly small. You'll see that most deployments will have like 16 servers, 20 servers. And there is a reason. It's very complex to manage large-scale distributed systems at scale. So there's a lot of east and west traffic, so you end up having to re-architect your network in many cases to a spine leaf architecture. And the metadata handling is also very complex because every node needs to know where data is for every other node. So those are the major issues on the scalability side.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, I mean, hyperconvergence seems like it starts out relatively simple. If you have 3 hosts and I've got some VMs and everything looks great, but you make a great point. As you scale up and you start to scale your storage capacity, you run into problems. So now let's talk about OpenConvergence. What's different about OpenConvergence?
So we decouple capacity from performance, right? So we still believe that Flash and NVMe should be on the host, locally used. It just makes sense from a latency perspective. So we use NVMEs and SSDs to write data and to read data from on the server, creating the concept of data locality, right? So the VMs and the applications will always act upon the local storage.
And that makes sense.
It makes total sense. Yeah. But we're not replicating across servers. So every server is independent to the point where they actually stateless. If you lose a server, you don't lose data. The data actually is simultaneously written to a back-end data node or data cluster that also will scale linearly all the way to like 1.7 petabytes. So you end up with a copy of the data local and a copy of the data that is fully erasure-coded, deduplicated, and compressed in this data cluster. So when you lose a server, it doesn't matter because the data just is pulled back or uploaded into a new server. In the hyperconverged solution, if you lose a server, you may have data resiliency problems because now you're actually losing data because the hosts were suddenly stateful again. So we solve those sort of things as well. And all the automation and the goodness that hyperconverged created, we are also applying to OpenConvergence.
So I can manage my storage from my vSphere client, for example?
You can. Actually, we have this pretty neat HTML5 UI that is lapsed into vCenter. It looks like seamless.
Nice.
And if you're managing like KVM as an example, you can access that same user interface standalone. We don't need vCenter, of course, in that case.
Okay. And what about data protection? Is that part of this?
Yeah, no, totally. So as I said, data is fully erasure coded across data nodes. Yeah. So for local protection, we do have data replication from a Datrium cluster to another Datrium cluster. Okay. We also announced that we will be releasing soon replication of snaps to AWS.
Oh, very nice.
Maybe Azure in the future as well. And then we have third-party backup tools like Veeam and others that we can we partner with to back up and take data offsite.
Excellent, excellent. So it sounds like the Datrium OpenConvergence platform is similar to Hyperconvergence in some ways, but much better in many other ways. Thanks for educating us today on the Datrium OpenConvergence platform.
Yeah, thank you so much.